We're on TV. Well, I think it's a pretty universally true statement to say that our project cars are never actually complete. As we get older, expand our interest, and learn more about our cars and the lifestyle that comes along with it, we as enthusiasts are constantly changing, and that's directly reflected into our cars. And with all that change in our taste comes a worldwide change in trends as well. We've recently talked about trends that died in 2020. If you haven't seen that, make sure to go check that out. But now we're gonna try and predict the future. So let's go over some trends that we've seen come back from the dead. Oh my God. So let's go over some trends we've seen come back from the dead, what we're seeing pick up speed in the show scene, and what kind of cars people are buying, and sprinkle in a few other more controversial modifications that I think may get some more traction moving through the new year. Wow, well that's pretty neat. But before we get started, I gotta remind you guys to subscribe if you haven't already, because we upload new videos literally every single day, and you're not gonna be the first to know about them if you're not getting notifications. And as always, don't forget to head over to fitmentindustries.com for all of your wheel, tire, and suspension needs. Oh, and we're giving away a set of Koenig wheels. Simply click the little card doohickey that just appeared on the top right of your screen and pick up some of our awesome Koenig apparel. You've got a 370Z on the back doing some big smoky skids in Mexico to let everyone around you know that you're a car enthusiast. You've also got this sick crosswind shield on the front, and every $5 that you spend gets you one entry to win. So these make the perfect holiday gift, because the more you buy for your friends, the more likely you are to win a set of Koenig wheels. And make sure to stick around for the last one on this list, because you're not going to believe what the hell it is. So first and foremost, one of the biggest trends I'm seeing throughout the car scene in general is the purchase of newer cars. Around 7 to 10 years ago, car manufacturers as a whole were increasingly competing to one-up each other with quality and power standards in order to not be outdone by their competition. You started seeing drastically rising power and torque numbers. Domestic and Japanese brands known for their interior started to rival that of the best German manufacturers. Transmission technology from high-end sport and exotic cars came to entry-level sedans, and brands like Kia, with the reputation for being the quintessential rent-to-own, no credit check pieces of transform into the reputable brand with luxury features, turbocharged engine options, and hell, they even made a 300 horsepower minivan and the freaking Kia Stinger, aimed at taking down BMW's 6-cylinder 3 Series and Audi's S4. Anyway, the cars that paved the way for these new trends are now well depreciated and pretty affordable. You can get into a Hellcat for $35,000, 400 horsepower Mustangs for $12,000, supercharged 330 horsepower Audi S4s for $10,000, and the list goes on and on. So whereas even just 5 years ago, the average age of a show car was closer to 15 years old and 200 to 300 horsepower, with things like your late 90s and early 2000s tuner cars. Mark IV Volkswagens, SRT4s, and your Mustangs were very popular choices, but now you're seeing that age gap decrease, and a lot of cars at shows are only 5 to 10 years old, because these cars present an enormous amount of value when it comes to that modern horsepower technology, reliability, and honestly, comfort. With that came the rise in horsepower. I mean, hell, I remember when 300 wheel horsepower was a pretty damn fast car, and it took a few $1,000s to make that happen reliably. But now you can just go buy an old 7-year-old anything for pennies on the dollar and have that power level from the factory. What? And I think you're going to continually see that age gap close until we see another economic collapse. The next one's going to reluctantly go to Aerodiscs. I thought these were going to take off when they first came out. What the f? But they never actually showed up in the real world a whole hell of a lot. And I think a big factor with that is the fact that they were pretty limited in styles and what model wheels that they would even work with. But as time goes on, Rotiform is releasing more and more wheels with their threaded hex center cap, meaning more models to strap these Aerodiscs to. So I'm sticking to it. The more wheels we can get these Aerodiscs on, I think that the more people are going to start utilizing them, because they're so versatile, fun, and even affordable. It's such an easy way to spice up the look of your ride and change what your wheels look like, or show how ridiculous your fitment is, or even further express yourself with your own custom designs on them. What's not to love about these things? It's me, I'm not to love about these things. The other thing I keep seeing pop up every now and again that gets a lot of attention is the half-wrapped cars, where one side is one color and the other side is usually a contrasting or a posing color, usually black and another color like white. Now, unless executed properly, it can look a little bit goofy, but when executed properly, good God, is it great looking. It even allows the owner to follow 2 different themes with the car, whether that's different color wheels on either side or even different wheels entirely. So you can really take your creativity to that next level without theoretically going so overboard that you lose the interest of everybody else. And because of this, I can really see this look taking over Instagram and car shows in the coming months as people start their new builds. It might be just crazy enough to work. My pee-pee's on fire. Something else I've seen a huge upswing in is 3D printed parts. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, damn, what the hell are people 3D printing for their cars? And you'd be pretty surprised how much stuff actually is 3D printed for your cars. Everything from printed hood and fender vents, some underhood components, and tons of interior stuff. 3D printing is becoming increasingly more affordable, more DIY-able, and inevitably more popular. It offers a ton of solutions to a plethora of issues when it comes to modifying your car. One thing I see a lot is actually to create a space for mounting Air Ride controllers in a factory cubby, and in that same genre, a place to mount a retrofitted iPad for in-car entertainment. From there, you can implement 3D printed venting into fenders and hoods and other underhood pieces, like custom engraved and colored caps. Dakota actually has this super neat washer fluid cap on his Focus ST. The factory one's this bright ass blue cap in an engine bay that's black in carbon fiber. So he got this super clean looking black cap with a white ST logo, and it's absolutely perfect. There's a ton of other random custom branded things you can get to spice up your ride as well. And on the higher end of things, there's people printing crazy carbon intake manifolds and even bracketry and various other actually useful parts, not just for cosmetics. From there, people are actually printing full-on accessories for the cars as well, like little replica wheels to match theirs and then hang them on their mirror, or even put them on little die-cast versions of their own car. This is super cool stuff, and it's only going to get bigger at this rate. Keep an eye out at the next car show you go to. And what in the actual mother is going on with carbon fiber? First, it was all the rage, and then it was gone. And now it seems like it's back in full swing, or at least damn near. But it's kind of being hidden. People are being little sneaks about it and trying to suppress their inner ricer. Crispy's sexy ass legacy wagon has a painted carbon fiber hood where the paint ever so slightly fades out at the cowl to expose its weaves. I saw a few different guys with carbon fiber fenders that were 99% painted at Slam Enough Gatlinburg. And you know what really set me off at Slam Enough Gatlinburg? The friggin' 2 fully carbon fiber bodied R33 and R34 Skylines. Who seriously does that? And even just running around Appleton here, there's a full carbon fiber bodied NSX. Hell, even on Branded Title Co., RIP, we installed carbon fiber fenders on Sean's Lamborghini Huracan and painted everything but the exposed carbon fiber vents. It's almost like carbon fiber never actually even went away. We just got scared to talk about it, but now we're a little more comfortable with it. I don't entirely know what happened, but I've seen so much carbon fiber this year that I would have to imagine these high-end build qualities are going to trickle down into more builds and be a huge trend for 2021. This next one contradicts the first one a little bit, but hear me out. Early 2000s cars whose popularity plummeted after 2008 are becoming ironic cool. I mean, hell, I've even seen it spring up here in this very building. Dakota went and bought 2 Mark IV Volkswagens, an Imola 20, the GTI, and a 2003 Jetta GLI Gels. The little went and got a super clean Mazda RX-8. Even my freaking girlfriend went and got a 2001 Audi S4, and then I went and got a 2003 Mustang. The cars are just so easy to find, nice examples that sparks a ton of joy for not a whole lot of money. Sure, the performance for the most part is lackluster, the interior quality is questionable, but the amount of joy that comes from the driving experience of these cars is unmatched for the dollar. Besides, they're kind of old enough now that the quality issues are seen as kind of part of their generation and less of a compromise. Anyway, I've seen this all over the place, from right here at the workplace to little groups gathering of iconic nostalgic cars. Now, it's less of a show car trend, but it's absolutely on the upswing right now. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but the last time we saw this upswing was 90s cars, and now they're rising in value. So I'm not saying go snatch up the good ones while they're cheap, but go snatch up the good ones while they're cheap. Now, importing cars is obviously an extremely popular topic right now, but you know what? I think it's going to become even more popular. As more and more companies that import cars pop up, the more cars that come in. With more cars being imported, With more cars being imported comes more education around it. And so the wall of difficulty and uncertainty around importing cars is coming down. I really think this is just going to drive up demand even more, which kind of goes back to what we talked about just a second ago, and that's the increasing demand for ironic cool cars. So tell me, what's more ironic cool than anything imported? I mean, hell, just the other week I was actually looking at what was available and what pricing would be on a Toyota Cavalier. Now, if you don't know what a Toyota Cavalier is, it's quite literally just a Chevrolet Cavalier with a few tweaks for the JDM market. Essentially, all export Cavaliers got the Z24's 2.4 liter dual overhead cam engine, super neat taillights to meet JDM regulations, and get this, wider front fenders, and of course, right-hand drive. If you were ever into J bodies, these things are actually pretty aggressive and can be had for dirt cheap, and they're so neat. Anyway, it's cars like this that are kind of considered normal, that you can get cheap, that are ironic cool, that are going to be extremely popular as importation becomes less scary. Yes, I just talked about Cavaliers on a 600,000 subscriber YouTube channel. Last on the list is one of the ones I've seen explode into popularity lately, is colored chrome window tint. I swear to God, I've seen it a few times this year, and when it's done right, I'm a little embarrassed to say, it looks really, really good. And it's just starting to trickle into social media and gets a lot of good responses. I've even brought it up to a few people here, and they're telling me that it's part of their plans moving into the next year is to get some color matched or contrasting colored tint on their vehicles. It's a super odd thing to see come back, but I'm super surprised how well it's actually working on some applications. It's time for the outro, bud. And those are my predictions of what's going to be trending upward in 2021. So let me know in the comments what trends you guys see that are up and coming. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay notified, because we upload every single day and you're not going to want to miss any of the fun or the giveaways. And as always, head over to fitmentindustries.com for all of your wheel, tire, and suspension needs. I'm Sean B.F on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.